just to manufacture some points. And a lot of times that's the mental part of the game when you're not making shots.
Aaron Craft scoreless in the first half. He finds Deshaun Thomas. And his jumper comes to the floor where it's picked up by John Harris.
You know, John Morris made a great point about halftime, is that the second half, get the ball to Jared down low. Let him touch it. 6 shots at a halftime is not enough for a player of his ability.
Miami goes inside as Josh Sewell, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, works free. Ohio State started this game on an 11-0 run. And now Miami has returned that lead to a 7-point difference and looking for a stop on offense.
You know what, Tom? Miami has taken its time, had multiple passes, and executed. They've gotten pretty good shots.
Sullinger inside, blocked from behind. McGee got his hands on the back of that ball after Sullinger got position.
And you know what? Block shot, so what? Go right back inside to him. Force the defense to have to guard him. He can make plays out of the post.
Buford, baseline jumper again.
And those are plays, Tom, right there, out of bounds. It's the second time out of bounds that William was able to get open and free that you account for. A defense you don't want because you try to stop them offensively, but offensively, to get easy points from underneath out of bounds is always a plus.
Little run and hook won't go. Sullinger kicks it out to Craft. Here's Buford spinning into the paint and off the mark. Might be some of the consistency Thad Matta was talking about. Sewell out front, goes right in front of Sullinger. He may have lost some weight, but he's still wide.
Well, he is wide, and Jared did a great job, and that's the part, losing weight, getting down the court. But Sewell has to be smart. Just pull up for the short little jump shot. Don't try to challenge the bigger defender.
Contact made, and that will go against Jared Sullinger. That is the third personal on the sophomore from Columbus.
Well, look at Jared inside. Could have had a little jump hook right there, but great defensive position that time. A little acting with the chest, but was able to get the call.
These teams first met in 1916. That was a 24-23 win for Miami. And they may have shot the three-pointer better back that day, even though there was no line there.
Another tie-in. You see a great pass inside. Now can you finish? With Miami is my former coach, Randy Ayers. Played here at Miami.
Buford off the feed from Craft. His finger roll falls out. Offense picked back up. Buford off the glass, and William Buford has 15 to lead all scorers tonight.
Miami tried to get out into transition without getting the ball first, and Lenzel was in the right place at the right time and made a smart play to Buford.
Reach-in foul on Lenzel Smith Jr., his second.
A little too aggressive right there, Lenzel, but you want to get those hands. But William Buford finishing at the basket off of a pass from Lenzel Smith. Those easy kind of baskets that kind of get you into rhythm, get the offense going.
Craft with the rip at midcourt, taken away, and Aaron Craft with the finish at one.
Great play by Aaron Craft first on the defensive end, quick hands, but watch him absorb the contact, put his shoulder into the chest of the defender. A very smart play. Because he's so strong up top, he's able to take that contact and finish.
Can't make it a three-point play, but it's a first bucket for Craft. Got that done on his own with great defensive pressure on Quentin Rollins. Mavunga can't finish, and Buford brings it back. He's their leading scorer. He takes a lot of shots and is the key to the Miami offense. You mentioned his free throws earlier. He's over 50% for the season in terms of free throws attempted for the team. Here's Reese's perfect combination. William Buford and Jared Sullinger. 6 boards for Sullinger, 15 points, a game high for Buford. Sullinger draws the foul on McGee. That's the third on the 6'11" sophomore.
And Coach Mata puts these two players in the position where they play off of each other a lot, because as William comes off of a down screen, you put that defensive man in a quandary. Do I help and hedge? If you do that, Jared is open back door or has great position. If you don't, now William can turn the corner. So you put that those two defensive players in a bad predicament on what to do with those, guarding those two players.
Sullinger hits them both. That was a key message coming from the Miami coaching staff today, specifically Jermaine Henderson. I loved his line. Identify the elephant, but they got baby elephants too.
They have a lot of firepower. The team is quite different than the team last year, though, Tom. You know, in regards to three-point shooters, John Diebler spread the court so well. That allowed Jared more space to work with in the interior. And until the Buckeyes can consistently knock down that three-point shot, teams are going to sag back in a little bit more and take away some of Jared's operating moves.
Ohio State 10th in the Big Ten, 33% from three. Mofongo through the contact, threw it in. That's his first bucket of the second half. You mentioned Diebler, he hit 50% from three. David Lighty hit 43%. Always threats in the perimeter. And then, of course, there is William Buford, who's gotten better from three every season.
Now, how do you guard that? When you have three great perimeter shooters and a powerful post-up player.
Sullinger has it taken away by Mavunga. He hits the deck, and here comes Miami with numbers the other way. 5 on 3, and they hit a spot-up three. They take a spot-up three with numbers. Missed opportunity for Miami in transition.
And when you have numbers like that, Tom, you have to take advantage of it. Don't bail out with a three.
On the other side, Deshaun Thomas gets him back. He's got his first bucket of the second half.
And that's what happens, because you take a long shot now. You don't have balance in the backcourt. Defensively, Ohio State able to get an easy transition bucket.
Buford rebounds the air ball from Rollins. Here comes Ohio State. Kraft hard into the paint, left it for Buford, and it was knocked away by Josh Sewell. Aaron Kraft hits the floor. Ohio State hitting the accelerator, up 15.
Well, first of all, he can't settle for taking a jump shot. Use that big body inside. Get in there, muscle around the rim. That's where you make your bread and butter, basically on the post.
Sullinger goes up hard and gets the roll. 11 now for Jared Sullinger, who had 12 in their matchup with Miami last year. So Mavunga, number 4, gets a look at the Miami bench from Charlie Coles and goes to set up shot in the paint, comes out top. Threw it away. He also averages nearly 4 turnovers a game, by the way. Here's Buford.
Well, that was just a poor decision. You have to see behind the defense. And that time he did a poor job of watching Aaron Kraft, but he also telegraphed that pass. I mean, I could have probably gotten that steal by the way that he telegraphed where he was going to throw the ball.
And you're tethered to a headset.
That's right. You see, but right there, Aaron Kraft is just hovering on the baseline. That's when you give him a pump fake, and then you throw to an open man, and then maybe he's open inside.
4th personal on Quentin Rollins. Lenzel Smith Jr. for 3, and he hits it. First bucket of the night for Smith. Nice rebound after going down with what seemed like a hip injury with a couple minutes left in the first half. 20-point lead now for the Buckeyes. Mavunga working on Thomas. Buford had the reach. Good body control by Mavunga.
Well, that's a well-drawn play to bring Mavunga up to the free throw line, have one of his players on the opposite side. That's a clear out and a way to let him drive to the basket one-on-one against Thomas.
Drew McGee charged with his 4th personal. Watch his elbow on Sullinger's back. Here's Mavunga on the other end.
Well, right here, William Buford has to commit all the way and force Mavunga to pass it back out or get it to his man. And you want to give up that three-point shot contested because they're not a great three-point shooting team, not allowing them to get into the paint.
Kraft throws it away, saved by Sullivan, who left his feet and threw it off Ravenel.
And Fab wants his guards to pick up right here off his back foot. The pass almost like a quarterback throwing off his back foot. You don't have the velocity to get the ball in there, but they're picking up full court right here a little bit, adding a little pressure to kind of get Miami moving quickly, or quicker than they want.
So here's Sullivan out of Upper Arlington. And a 5-second call. Kraft forces him into a turnover. Sullivan's got a ton of friends and family in the stands tonight, and they see Aaron Kraft get the better of him on that possession.
Well, tenacious defense, and the problem is when your defender is aggressive, that means instead of trying to speed up, you have to slow down a little bit. Okay, either pick it up and pass it or bring it back up and reset. Don't try to go at the same speed as your defender, because against a guy like Kraft, you're not going to win that battle.
Kraft finds Thomas, who reverses it in. Charlie Cole asks for a timeout.
Point guards want to make a chest pass in that situation. Aaron made the correct play.
Well, it hasn't been a perfect night for the Buckeyes, though the score may indicate that they've been in control. There's been little offensive flow throughout the evening for Ohio State. Quick look inside. Mavunga, great hands. That one threaded the needle. And Julian Mavunga now has 15 points. And he really hadn't been to the free throw line much. 7th in the nation with 91 makes from the line so far this season. Here's Buford to Thomas. Got it. Can this be a good three-point shooting team? Because the numbers indicate thus far and early in the season that they haven't shot the ball well.
Well, it depends on how they get those shots. That was a great dribble drive penetration where Deshaun felt comfortable to take the shot. But if you're trying to go one-on-one and then pull up, the percentages will drop.
Harassing defense by Ravenel, 28 feet from the hoop. He goes back inside. Sullivan pulls up, drills it. A baseline jumper, and he gets low five from his coach, Charlie Coles. Brian Sullivan, the freshman from just up the road, gets his first bucket.
And it's always good to come back and play in front of the family, you know, especially when you're playing against a great team like Ohio State. But you have to try to control those nerves as well, Tom.
Yeah, he said he was disappointed this game wasn't on campus. He's played at Value City Arena a number of times. But we're downtown Columbus tonight. And before the shot, a foul. Followers, so is Jeff Bowles, the Ohio State assistant coach. He's living on Twitter. He told me today, he said it's easy. Anytime I want to find some more followers, I just tell Sullinger, you're not getting playing time unless you retweet me once or twice, and that'll get me more. Sullinger's got like 60,000 followers out there.
Yeah, I follow Jeff too on Twitter, so he gets it in.
The guys at BTN Journey on Twitter are saying if they get to 3,500 by the new year, they'll release their promo early on Twitter. So that's,
well, get it done.
Enough reason why, right?
Get it done. And if you haven't watched the Journey, the impelling stories that they have there about these young men behind the scenes, Julian Darnell, Billy Friedman there at the office, they do a great job of presenting these players in a different light.
Here's Aaron Kraft, former quarterback, hands it off to Buford. Shot clock now at 6. Buford, Thomas with the left, and he gets it in off the window. 15 now for Deshaun Thomas.
And Miami hasn't made the adjustment. How many times have we seen William be able to turn the corner and get inside that gap? And at one point, you have to cut that off.
Ohio State on the run. Ravenel and one. The way this team shares the basketball, I wonder if Thad Matta might just go ahead and play 8 or 9 in conference play.
Well, he should. And this team is at its best when they're in transition because they're unselfish players who love to see their teammates benefit when they're running the court. And when you can pass the ball unselfishly, that makes you a tougher team to guard.
That's a Verizon key connection. Evan Ravenel left Boston College when Al Skinner lost his job. There's some pretty good guys out there, including Brady Heslip, who was a teammate of his, great three-point shooter, is now at Baylor. And Rakim Sanders at Fairfield. So both Ravenel and Heslip Stepped into top 5 programs as transfers from Boston College. Ravenel knocked it away. Kraft comes up with it. Here's Buford. And one again.
Creating offense off of your defense. Head up, great bounce pass, and finish by William Buford. Once again, getting out in transition. The numbers are in their favor. And I love the fact that they're attacking the rim, absorbing the contact, and finishing.
That's the 5th on Drew McGee, who's done with 9:42 to go here. And William Buford has a chance for a 3-point play. Buford left that South Carolina game after scoring 5 straight points, got banged up. He fouls out McGee here. Buford wincing a little bit on the floor right now after taking that shot. Charlie Coles is calling out the offensive set. It's called Iowa. I wonder if that's a nod to his assistant, Todd Licklider, who his first year at Iowa split games with Ohio State. They played in Columbus, and the Buckeyes beat the Hawkeyes by 45. Got him at Iowa City and held Ohio State to less than 50 points and came away with the win. Nice to see Coach Licklider back in action after a year off.
Talking to Todd, he said, you know, being an assistant gives him a chance to really get a better understanding what his assistant coaches go through to get back, because he, you know, eventually wants to get back into being head coach, but he has a different perspective now. He's kind of retooling a little bit his thought process and what assistant coaches really have to do on a day-to-day basis.
What better way to learn how to be a better head coach than to work for him, right? Buford for Thomas. Seibert, 3. Ball movement doesn't produce a bucket there for Ohio State,
but it produces a great shot, and that's what you want. You can live with missing those type of shots because multiple players, 2 to 3 players touch the ball and you got an open shot.
Mavunga. Boy, he is not conventional, but he gets it to go.
Well, is it just me, or that when he puts it on the floor and is really aggressive, he makes things happen? But when he settles, now you don't get the kind of results you're looking for.
Buford thought about stepping through, instead fades back. Thomas can't get it. Mavunga came down with the rebound. Another board for Mavunga. It's his 9th. He's a board away from a double-double. They're always looking for Mavunga. Here he is in no man's land. That's a 2. And it goes. Rattles home with his foot on the line. And now 19 for Julian Mavunga. He's a senior from Indianapolis out of Brownsburg High School. Played with Gordon Hayward, a Butler fame, and one Mark Titus.
A little competition there. Deshaun being from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mavunga from Indianapolis, so you know there's a little grudge right there between the two.
Back to Brian Sullivan, who drills a 3, his second long-range jumper. First head toe on the line. This one's clear for 3. He's coming off of a career-high 18 against Evansville.
And this could be good for Brian Sullivan and the Redhawks because he has a great stroke. It's all about finding the confidence, and once you get into mat play, he could be a key contributor for you.
Thomas, short, gets his own miss, takes it back up, swatted by Mavunga, and knocked out by Harris. What is it with the water in Toledo, Jimmy?
Something there. You know, the name missing on there, too, was in the early 70s from my high school, Wardell Jackson, who played as well. So, great pipeline of guys coming from Toledo, from T-Town, 419, that represented the Buckeyes very well.
Baseline jumper's too strong.
You know, we're not just known to be home of the G, okay? Or Jamie, the Jamie Farr Classic and everything like that, and MASH, you know, the Mud Hens. You got some hoopers. Just saying.
I hear you.
Little history time.
3-pointers short on the other end. You think about those names and guys who have established themselves. I talked to Thad Matta about William Buford's consistency. And I don't know if there's another senior in the nation that's been a part of so many wins who's less appreciated nationally. Maybe it goes back to his 2 for 16 against Kentucky in the tournament as Ravenel throws down the dunk. What would it take for William Buford to be considered one of the elite players in program history? Because the stats are there.
Well, he will be, no matter what. Now, nationally, from the national picture, he probably doesn't get the pub because he's not flashy. He doesn't do anything spectacularly great. He does a lot of things very well. The pull-up jump shot, the three-point shot, he's rebounding, he's passing. So he's not going to have the highlight plays on ESPN that garner that kind of attention. But if you want a solid player who's going to contribute and get you W's, William Buford is that guy.
Buford, game high 18 points tonight. He's likely done with 5 and change to go in this one. Jordan Seibert almost slipped going close out on his man. And the rebound scooped up by Ravenel.
Now, watching this Miami team, they have some great offensive set. But what will really help this team as they get into conference play is their point guards having confidence to step up and take jump shots. Right now, when they're trying to get closer to the basket other than Sullivan, the pick and roll is not as effective because guys can go under. So when they start making jump shots, then everything else can start to come together.
That was the first on Jared Tadlock. And the talented freshman Sam Thompson at the free throw line. All right, at your advice, I kept my eye on Thompson today at Ohio State shoot-around. Not only can this guy rise, but he has fun doing it.
Boing, boing is what I call it.
He's got springs.
Boing, boing. I mean, it's incredible. And it's the first jump, but it's the second jump. You can tell a guy has bounce. Went on his initial jump, and then he comes down and it springs right back up vertically a little bit higher. That's when you have what I call boing, boing.
If you have boing, boing like that,
right,
and you get the other 14 guys on the practice floor to stop and watch you, you're doing something sensational.
It's amazing that you play with such great athletes, but then a guy can kind of galvanize everybody because of what he can do. And he does it so easy. See, that's the thing about it. Some guys jump and is aggressive. He just kind of floats and explodes and glides into his dunking motion.
Freshman from Chicago. And now Jordan Seibert at the free throw line.
I like his mannerisms, his poise. He allows the game to come to him. Coach Matta talked about his work ethic in practice early, how impressed they were with his basketball knowledge. Now it's a matter of just understanding where his game fits in, continuing to improve, because he can be a great player here at Ohio State in the very near future.
J.D. Weatherspoon checks in. Tonight's Culligan pure and simple difference maker, Aaron Craft on the Ohio State bench. All around great game again for Craft. 8 assists, 3 boards, a pair of steals. Top 2 in the Big Ten in assists and steals. This guy can get up a little bit, but left it short. Follow tip isn't there. Athletic move by Adam Thomas, but couldn't finish. 4:10 to go in this one from downtown Columbus. Reserves on the floor for the most part for both sides. Mabunga's still out there for Miami. Trying to slow down Weatherspoon. J.D. Weatherspoon looking to earn some time. Gets fouled as he took it up hard. Tonight because he doesn't want to put him in a position where he would look bad. And Ross, who missed a ton of foundation work, is what Matta calls it. Everything that we do in the preseason and everything we do early season, working on fundamentals, he was really lost when he came back to practice first week of December. Let's see how the standout freshman performs here in the final 3:40.
And the thing about it was that Quentin Ross wasn't able to be here in practice. So from a conditioning perspective, he can still shoot, though. What was I saying? Conditioning, throw that out the window. If you can play, you can play. But this young man at 6'8" has a stroke. as we can see.
No hesitation.
I love it. I mean, not shy at all in transition. The first time you touch the ball, you pull up for a 3 in transition and bury it. Now, see, he's going to raise the expectations really high after that shot. You know that, right?
Right. Well, this is a team that's looking for another 3-point threat.
Boy, they can find it at 6'8". Not having any practice, the bench really excited for him because they understand that academically what happened, a lot of it wasn't of his own doing, unfortunately. But once he gets into the mix, it's going to be very interesting to see how the coaching staff integrates him into their system.
Well, it'd be really interesting to watch with Big Ten play starting right after Christmas, how Thad Matta uses his bench and what kind of rotation he settles on. Hey, great rotation for Brian Sullivan. Throws down another 3.
I like his stroke. Yeah, and back to Thad. You know, sometimes it's, I know Thad is very comfortable with the 6 or 7 players that he plays. He has such a plethora of talent. And in the Big Ten, as we see LeQuentin again, how he's going to integrate that into his, game plan.
Here's Amir Williams. He's earned more playing time as the season's progressed. Weatherspoon, strong move, but couldn't get it to go down. Amir Williams has been shooting the ball well. He said, I feel like I've grown up over the previous 2 games. I've really matured. And one of the young guys who's looking for playing time for Ohio State. Big game tonight for the Fighting Illini of Illinois. The bragging rights game with Missouri and St. Louis. One of 4 Big Ten teams with 11 wins or better. Indiana remains undefeated at 12-0.
And, you know, when you look at that, Indiana jumps out at you because of where they've been the previous 3 years. It's great. It's a great story not only for Indiana but also the Big Ten. Minnesota at 12-1 is kind of deceiving a little bit with Trevor Mbakwe not in the lineup. But my 5 who to watch, Robbie Hummel coming back off of injury. He exploded off a dunk the other night. I love to see it. Trey Burke fell into a great position, a great point guard that can make plays. Travis Trice, a shooter that will spread the court for Michigan State. Jordan Hall, you see what he's doing, the combination of him and Cody Zeller. And then also Myers Leonard there at Illinois. Kind of like a Mike Davis who can shoot, spot up. His post play is there. His body has gotten bigger and stronger. So these guys have integral roles on their team that could help them, be successful once they get into conference play.
By the way, the only bad news coming out of Indiana is the injury to Will Sheehy.
Big.
Turned his ankle, I believe, was the injury. And we haven't heard an official diagnosis, but he will miss significant time. 4 to 6 weeks likely out for Indiana. That's a good chunk of, obviously, the start of conference play. And he's been, to this point, the 6th man of the year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and Indiana's bench is not that deep. So when you lose a player like Will Sheehy, that sets you back.
The lob up the chimney, he rose.
Did I mention that J.D. Witherspoon also had boing boing? Did I mention that?
Did you see him touch his nose before he went up? That little twinkle?
Let me tell you something. Here's a tidbit. When my son and J.D. were in the 7th and 8th grade, they had alley-oop plays designed for him at that time. Just watch and listen. See, with J.D., it's a matter of how high do I really want to throw it?
You can't throw it too high. Deshaun Thomas almost lost his mind on the Ohio State bench. And Williams rips it away from Adam Thomas, but he'll be at the free throw line. Time now for our GMC professional grade player of the game. Toledo's own William Buford. 18 points, 4 assists. He hit 50% of his shots.
All in the night's work, efficient. And you talked about William being efficient. And as a senior, he's gearing up for Big Ten play. Let's get all this non-conference stuff out the way. Santa Claus is coming on Sunday. All the gifts will be delivered. Let's get down to business.
Ohio State unwrapped a pretty significant gift with LaQuinton Ross seeing his first playing time of the season tonight. Hit his first shot in Ohio State uniform, a transition 3. Not too bad a mid-season pickup. I mean, that's like a mid-season trade. Ripped away, but getting right back by Sullivan. Likely the last possession of the night for Miami. And Ohio State will run its win streak against unranked teams to 54 straight games, longest in the nation. And their 33rd straight win at home. This is considered a home game here nationwide. Northwestern comes in next in a game that'll be on BTN, back on campus, Value City Arena on the 28th. New Year's Eve contest at Indiana will be a fun matchup to watch.
It will be. And we talked about the absence of Will Sheehy in that game. That affects a lot. Very athletic on the wing, can run, can shoot, great defender, understands how to play. Now you take him out of the lineup, you know, he would normally guard a Buford or a Thomas. You don't have that athleticism or that size when you lose Sheehy.
Ross was fouled. Mavunga was quick to foul him. Why? He's got a walk-on waiting to come in the game.
He has to wait until the second shot.
He's got to wait for the second shot. And Mavunga finishes with another double-double, 20 and 10. So Joe Measure comes into the game. Mavunga, how's that for a teammate? Stops the clock so the walk-on can get the final 10 seconds in against Ohio State. Ross hits the second. 29 points the difference. Sullivan can't finish it at the rim. And Ohio State comes a few miles from campus, but the end result is the same.